What's going on, Rama Hackers? I'm Sasyata. It has been quite a while since my last tutorial post, but I'm here today to bring to you the third and final segment of our How to Rip Tiles from Gen 5 Pokemon Games tutorial series. So, I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to show you how to rip wall textures today and how to do UV editing and some fixes that you might have to run into on your own. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so to get started, you're going to need to have CTRMap open. If you haven't watched my previous episodes of this tutorial series, definitely go back and watch those because they are going to help you get everything set up. You're going to need the tool CTRMap, which I'm pretty sure I've linked in the description of the other videos, so please watch those first. They'll get you into how to do the basics. Today we're going to get a little more involved. So you're going to need CTRMap, and you're going to want to go into the load zone, and you're going to click on whatever zone you want to load. I'm going to do 561 in black 2, and that leads me to the Plasma Frigate, and I'm interested in ripping some wall tiles from this area. Now, there's going to be two things we're going to do today. One of them is going to be a little bit easier than the other, and the second one is going to be a little bit more involved. So what you'll want to do here is first go to File and click Serialize Scene. I've already done this, and just save it as a CMIF format. And then you're going to go to Tools and click Creative Studio. I've already clicked this, it's in the top left corner here, and it's going to open up this CTRMap Creative Studio. It's going to at first look like just a blank screen, so you're going to want to click on Models right here in the top left, and you can click on which map model you want to observe. And so this is going to show you the map with all the vertex colors. So you notice that it's nicely shaded. It looks like there's like spotlights on different areas. This is basically the finished product that's actually going to be seen in the game. Now, when we rip this model, it's not going to look like that because whenever you rip OBJ, they basically don't hold the vertex colors when you open them in Blender. So we're gonna have to do those in PDSMS after. So I'm interested in this area because it looks really cool, and I've done a lot of the ripping of these tiles already, and I'm going to include them in a tile set in the future. I've been working on it here, but for today I want to show you how to get some of the wall textures because these can be kind of difficult if you don't really know your way around Blender very well. So let's get started by going to this map and clicking Export, and you're just going to click Save Export. For me it says it already exists. I'm going to say yeah, and then you're just going to click Export. I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it again. And then you're going to go into Blender, and I already imported it here, so I'm just going to redo that so you all can see. I have a blank Blender thing, so you can. I use Blender 4.0, but I think other earlier versions also work. I'm going to go Import Wavefront, and I'm just going to open this guy. So wherever you have it saved, just open it up. And you're gonna, while everything's still selected, you're gonna always hit S and just move it, left click, and then we're gonna scale everything down 0.0625, just because it exports too big, and we want it to be correctly sized to scale in the game, whatever we're gonna be making. So you can use middle click to move around like this, and shift middle click to move translate up and down. And we want this wall texture here. Now you'll notice a couple things. First of all, you have a lot of really weird looking textures that you don't normally see. So if we compare this to, say, what we see here, side by side, you'll notice that all the vertex coloring is now stripped off, and that's just something that happens. But you can always do that later on. So for now, we're just going to worry about actually getting the wall texture itself. And the interesting part here is that it is a curved surface, so we're going to actually need to create a new model by itself. So we're gonna select the wall and then hit Control I, so we can select the inverse and then delete. So all we're looking at now is just this. If we want to go back and rip something else, you can always just Control Z, and then to go back, Control Shift Z to redo. So what I want to do from here is I want to check and see if I can easily just tear off a segment of this, because ideally we want to make this tileable, so we want to get the most basic elementary version of this texture on some model, and it's not really easy to do. If you look from top down, they're angled. The only flat one is here, and splitting this thing might not be easy. So if you want to try splitting things, you can always use the cut tool. So that is K, which gives you this knife, and then if you want to hit shift, it'll get you into the very center. Hit C to make sure you cut through, and then hold shift again click again, and you'll notice it cuts it in half. But it doesn't quite cut it right down between where these repeating tiles occur, and so that's going to be kind of annoying. So if we want to make good tiles, the way to do that is the following for specifically walls. I'm going to go into edit mode. So if you want to switch between object and edit mode, you want to select something and hit tab. It should tab you back and forth. If that doesn't work, just click and then you can hit tab. Sometimes it's finicky. Blender can be like that. So I'm going to go into edit mode, and I'm going to go up to the top left corner here, and I'm going to hit add. I'm going to hit plane, and then I'm going to size it. For me, I think 3 is probably good enough here. So I'm going to say 3 meters, and then I'm going to go down to rotation in X, and I'm going to type 90. And so that will rotate this guy to be a wall, basically, instead of a floor tile. And that's all we really need to do for now. And so what I want to do from here is I'll just hit escape. I'll select these guys and delete them. And so now I have this weird looking texture, and I'm going to use this top right control up here to click on the correct orientation. So for me, that's going to be my Y, and I'm going to first align it with the grid. So I'm going to zoom in, and you'll notice how the grid gets a little bit more refined. So I'm going to hit A to select everything. I'm going to hit G to let me freely move stuff. And I'm going to move it over so that the bottom left corner is aligned with the origin. If you need snap grid on, there's this magnet button right here, and you can select using that. So now we have this kind of warped out tile, and I want it to be only one tile long, so that when I'm actually using this in my DS Map Studio, it will tile perfectly and it won't look warped. So I'm going to hit, once again, tab to get into edit mode if you haven't already, and I'm going to go to this top left corner here and go to select mode, vertex select, and now I am going to highlight this right 2 corners here, and these will be the nodes that are selected. I can hit G. Now, if I want to move them around freely, I can just move them around, but if I want to go only left to right, I can hit X, and that will bind me only to left and right. And I want to go until I have exactly 1 square unit. So you can see how some of the grid is a little darker or thicker than others. You're going to want to go 1 unit. So if you zoom out, you can kind of see it better here. So now we have a 3 height by 1 width, and this looks pretty good. Now, the caveat here is that sometimes your UVs might be messed up. And what I mean by UVs, if you're not familiar with that term, this means your X and your Y direction texture. So U and V are just like the coordinate system for your textures. So you can always click on this and then go up here where it says layout, modeling, sculpting, UV editing, and click UV editing. And you can see how this texture is assigned. So I can grab this and I can move it around, and you'll see how the texture actually moves around here. For us, we are very fortunate that this is actually 1 tile wide in texture, but if we wanted to make this tiling wider for some reason, or if the texture was different, you can do that too. So I can select everything on this left viewport right here, hit S, and then X, so I'm going to only size it in the X direction, and I'm going to hit 2 to double it, and I'm going to hit enter. So then I'm going to select it, and I'm going to click G, X, so I'm going to shift it left and right, and then I'm going to align the nodes on the screen here with the left part of the texture. You usually want to be an integer multiple of the texture size. Otherwise, it's going to not tile correctly, and that is an error you can run into when you're actually using these tiles. Just trust me on it, this is the best way to do it. I'm going to then select everything, hit Shift S, and then selected to pixels, and you'll see that it shifts it a little bit. It makes sure it's actually aligned with the texture. And so you'll see how it stretches it in, it shrinks it in a little bit. If you wanted to have a texture that repeats more often, you can do it this way. I don't want to do that for now because this texture is just it was good the way it was. So I'm going to just do S, X, and 0.5, hit enter, and you'll notice that it goes right back to the way it was. So I'm going to hit GX to put it back. Going to line it up as best I can, and then do select to pixels, and now it's back to the way it was before. Okay, so this is your wall texture. So now that we have this, we go into layout, looks great, and then I'm going to hit file, export, wavefront.obj, and I'm going to just call it frigate. I'm going to call it wall 3 high. So I, as you can see, I've been exporting a ton of stuff here, so I try to give it a name that makes sense. So I'm going to export this wavefront. And now we're going to go into Pokemon DS Map Studio. So for me, I already have a project open, but if you want, you can always go to File, New Map. And I'm not going to make a new map now because I already have one going where I'm ripping all this stuff. And I want to then add this tile into DS Map Studio. So I'm going to go to a new area here, since it does not have a lot of clutter in it. I'm going to go up to Tile Set Editor, and I'm going to go to Add Tiles. Not Import Tiles. This is for if you already have tile sets from another map you're making. You're going to go to Add Tiles. And because we've already oriented everything correctly, oh, I should mention that when you do export stuff, this is not a default. So I'm going to go back here real quick. You want to make sure your forward axis is Y and your up axis is Z here. I already have that set, but by default that's not the case, so just make sure. If it's not flipped, then you can just click flip XY or flip YZ here. That'll fix the problem if it gets imported in the wrong direction. I keep scale as 1 because we already scaled things down. So I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to go to wherever I exported this thing. I'm already in that folder, but you might have to go searching for it. So frigate wall 3 high, click open. I'm going to scroll all the way down in my tile list to this new tile here. And so here it is. It looks a little bit flat. Like the color does not quite look so good compared to here, where it looks like it's shaded a little bit differently. And that's from the vertex colors. So we're gonna actually fix those up. The most important thing here, before you do anything else, is to set the tile ability. And so I'm gonna go, because this guy is gonna go left to right, I'm gonna click X tileable, and I'm gonna hit texture U tileable. And this just means that the texture, if we look in here and go into our UV editor, we want to tile this thing from left to right. So I don't want to repeat it up and down, I want to repeat it left to right. If my texture were rotated 90 degrees, I would say texture tileable V instead of U. And once I do that, this really convenient thing will happen. When I put this tile down, first of all, there it is. I'm going to highlight the polygons with this wireframe button here, and you'll see that it is 1 polygon. And if I zoom in and I draw a lot of other ones, you'll see it is still only 1 polygon. And this is really nice, because if I turn off the tile ability here, well, now it becomes 6 polygons, and that is 6 times the storage space on the DS, and every polygon counts. If you have too many polygons, your game will crash. So always turn on X tile ability and U tile ability. If I turn off U tile ability, then it just stretches it, and it doesn't actually tile the texture. So you want to make sure both of those are on. Now, if we want this to also be colored, we want to go into our tile set editor and go into edit vertex colors. Now we can do this a number of ways. Now there's only 4 nodes on this, which means there's only 4 places that I can assign vertex colors to, and it will linearly interpolate the colors in each direction. So let's go back to CTRMap, and it looks like the bottom is a different color than the top. It seems like the top is a little bit darker. Now you can do whatever you want with these. You can interpret it, be artistic with it, do however you want. Personally, I like it to be a little bit different colored at the top. So I'm going to say maybe I'm going to make it a little bit more bluish near the top, and let's make it a little bit darker. So like this. I think this looks pretty neat. And then at the bottom, this is kind of bright. So I'm going to go to the bottom, and I'm going to try to get as close to the middle here as I can. And I'm just going to make it a little bit darker. So now it's not super weird. I like this. This is pretty good. And you can play around with this, do whatever color scheme you want. You can go crazy with the vertex colors. But now if we want to have sideways walls, because we only need front-facing walls and sideways walls, you don't need rear-facing walls because those can't actually render with the way the DS camera is set up. So that's the only one that matters. So what you want to do is go up to here and click duplicate tile. Click it twice to make 2 duplicates. And then go and select the new ones you've made, not the one you were just on, because then you'll change the actual tile you just made. So select the second tile here, and I'm going to change it to Y tileable. I'm not going to change the U tile ability because I still want to have it tile left to right, not up and down. So I have Y and U selected, and then I'm going to click rotate on the model. So now it rotates at 90 degrees. And I'm going to turn on my polygon finder here so that I can actually see this in the top down view. And I'm just going to drag down like this, and now I have my wall. So now I actually have this wall here, and I can do the same thing. I'm going to just I'm going to rotate it the other direction. So I'm going to go to the third tile right here that I selected, rotate it a couple times, and then I'm going to select Y tileable, keep the U tileable. That the U and V thing shouldn't really change once you have it figured out which one it should be. So I'm going to just make it like this, and boom, there. Now I have a very small room, but these are interior walls, right? And it would look really weird if they just kind of like stopped, and maybe I don't want to accidentally see like the outside here. Like you can see the texture here. So a good thing to do whenever you are making these walls is taking a ground texture, duplicating it, and then making a black ceiling version of it. So I have some tiles here that are good for walls. That are good floor tiles. I have some over here, and you'll notice what I've done here is I've taken some of these floor tiles like this, and if you look up here, I have a black version of it, and let me just open this up. So it is basically, I've just duplicated it. I've gone into vertex colors, I've selected all the way black, and I've colored the whole thing in black, and then I just pop it up. You can go up and down in here using these buttons, and that is great. And now I can simply go over to this room that I want to make. Let me do the polygon finder, and I'm going to go into a different layer, and I'm just going to draw around it like this, just as an example. Boom. And now this looks a lot more clean. And you can put a ton of other stuff here on the floor, etc. All these tiles, like anything else you want to rip. Now you can always, if you are not satisfied with these vertex colors, you can always duplicate the tile itself. So I'm going to duplicate, and I'm going to select it, and I'm going to move it to the end so I don't get them mixed up. You can always use the move tile tool up here, and I'm just gonna like edit vertex colors. Like I could say like, oh, maybe I want this thing to be like super pink for whatever reason. Like I can do that. I can have another copy of it with different vertex colors. So this is really cool. You can edit these wall colors without having a new texture, a new tile, just by basically doing a copy of the original model and just changing vertex colors. Now I should mention, if you want these vertex colors to appear, you're going to need to go into your tile list editor, and we're going to look at what this material name is. So it's IN77QCabe1. And this is one of the more recent ones that I've imported, so it should be at the bottom of my material list, and here it is. Now there's a bunch of different options here, and the one that we care about is click this checkbox here, use vertex colors. So this will actually render these vertex colors in game. And if you want to check and make sure that these things actually look the way they're supposed to, I'm going to click save up here, and then I'm going to go to this little star export icon, and I'm going to click all map. I'm going to export all maps separately, hit OK. I'm just going to give it a name, click save, and then I'm going to go and do this again, click save, and basically just converting them all into NSBMD files, and I'm going to click yes, include textures. You'll notice that a lot of these models here look super flat, and that's because their vertex colors are not enabled. But ours that we just made, let me find the map real quick. Here it does have vertex colors. You'll notice that for these tiles here, I did not enable vertex colors, and so I need to go back and select just the checkbox on the material and say enable vertex colors. And so that will actually allow those to appear as black when you import them into the game, and not this like weird looking texture. Now that's exactly what happened. If we go all the way back here, and if I just hold Ctrl-Z and go back, that's exactly why these things appear as they do, because the vertex colors are not rendering. And so once you do this, I could just import this map into the game, same way you would any other map using DSPRE, and that's basically it. So this is how you get wall textures. There is something that you can run into, and this is a small caveat, and this only happens in some areas, but it's a really good thing to know. So before I sign off for this video, there is a problem you can run into when it comes to doing these maps, and that is that some maps in these Gen 5 games have really weird ways of dealing with textures. And so this one in particular, right here, you'll notice oh my goodness, here we go. You'll notice that this looks really weird. It looks like it's like mirrored, but it's not supposed to be. I've already ripped this one, and it looks pretty normal right here, right? It doesn't look anything too strange, but this one looks weird. And there's another example of this that I really would like to show you and how to fix it. So this is a different map in the same area, and we're specifically going to go look at this wall texture over here. Now I'm going to again go to Creative Studio, and I'm just going to export this other one, and I'm just gonna go export, say yes. I've already exported it once, so it's not a big deal. I'm gonna hit A, delete this one, go to File, Import, and it should be the most recent OBJ here. I'm gonna hit S, resize it, 0.0625, and here we go. So you'll notice on the wall here, these textures look really funky. It's like this beam here is cut off. It's like cut in half for some reason. And the reason for that is because they use only half of the texture. And it's a way of saving space, I guess, but it's really obnoxious. And so you would want to do the same thing that we do previously, where we click on this guy, hit Control-I, delete. And I'm gonna hit tab, and I'm just going to select this polygon, hit Control-I, delete. So we're just looking at this one guy right here. Now I think in this case it's probably going to be easiest to just do the following. So you can go through the same exact process of just adding a new polygon here, and then putting your texture on it, and then squishing it down like I just showed you. But if you do that, you're going to get this weird tiling thing. So what I have liked to do is I am going to take this guy, I'm going to export him as he is, and I'm just going to call it frigate bad, hit export. I'm going to go into PDSMS, I'm going to add this guy as a tile, and I'm going to click on this frigate bad. I'm gonna click here. So all I really need to do here is just get him in, and you'll notice that there's this texture right here. I'm gonna click on this texture, but before I do that, I have to click save on this map, otherwise it won't let me open it. Now I'm gonna click on it, and it will open it in Photoshop. Hold on here, there we go. If you don't have Photoshop, I think you can use other like image editing to do this. And so the problem is that we only have texture here. Now if you don't want to split the polygon and then do a bunch of other things that really make it kind of bloat your map, the best way to deal with this is to take this guy and do what I did here and just mirror it. So this is something I've already done. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to measure how big this is. This one's 32 by 64. That's a pretty common size for them, so you'll have to play around with it and just see. You're gonna go to File and then click New. So using Photoshop, I'll make a new image, and hopefully the dialog box will pop up. Great. I'm gonna go 64 by 64. I already have this custom, so just 64 by 64 pixels, and I'm gonna hit Create, and now I get this blank box here. And so what I want to do is I'm gonna take this guy, whoops, and I'm gonna go Control-C, I'm gonna click Control-V, and then sometimes I forget the Blender controls versus the Photoshop controls. I'm gonna hit Control-C, and then I'm gonna hit Control-V, and I'm gonna move this guy here. So this looks pretty similar to what we were seeing in the viewport, because it wasn't actually flipping it. But we can make this texture flipped pretty easily. So we're gonna click any of these node dots here, and we're going to make sure we have interpolation set to nearest to neighbor, and then we're going to go to this like link box here, make sure it's unlinked, and then just put a negative sign before this W right here. So this is the width. Click negative and just click anywhere, and boom, there you go, there's your texture. Now I've already done this here, and I can just go in to here, click on this right here, add texture, and then just select my new texture. I've already done this, so I believe, where the heck did it go? Now I've already done this, and so now it looks pretty good right here. And this texture here looks as it does here, instead of this mess that we see right here. And so you can do this if your texture's not too big. You can just duplicate and flip it, adding this twice the size of a texture really isn't that big of a deal space-wise most of the time. Otherwise, you'd have to add a lot more polygons. And you'll notice this is just 2 polygons right here. So that's great. Anyway, folks, that is how you make wall textures and rip them in Pokemon DS Map Studio. I hope this video helped you with your mapping journey. If you have other things you want me to teach you how to rip, then I'd be happy to do so. I have a ton of new tiles available in my Discord server, which is linked in the description. I released a couple months worth of tiles that I just ripped, from things like Snowy Mountains to obviously the Plasma Frigate, which I'm about to release soon. Snowy tiles, mountain tiles, beach tiles, island tiles, industrial tiles, anything you could think of, I've basically done there. So be sure to join the Discord if you want those resources, and ask questions if you run into any problems. I've been Sasyada. I will see you in the next video.